What's up, guys? Just gonna take you on some of my GBL battles that I have had today, and for these three I am going to be using Rhyperior, Snorlax, and Togekiss. Now for my Rhyperior, I've got Mudslap, Rock Wrecker, the new Community Day move, and Superpower. Mudslap is going to be hitting hard Dialga and the Metagross, all the steel guys, a lot of Melmetal happening around, and then you've got Superpower for Dialga as well, Superpower for Snorlax, Superpower for other steel guys, and then Rock Wrecker is just a super powerful move. You got it for Togekiss, and it just does a lot of neutral damage to things like Mewtwo. It even takes out Giratina Origin. It takes like a massive chunk. So I'm going to be using Rhyperior, and then we've also got Snorlax. Now, we've been seeing a lot of Giratina Origin, and Snorlax is just a wall for Giratina Origin, so that's one of the reasons I like using a lot. And then for the games today, I'm trying out Heavy Slam and Superpower. I like Heavy Slam for all the Togekiss we see, and then Superpower for the same reasons as before. And then we've got Lick to take out the Giratinas, to take out Mewtwo. And then for our third, and other psychic types, and for our third, we have got Togekiss. Togekiss is just an all-around really good Pokemon in Master League meta. It's going to be hitting the dragons, and it's going to be hitting a lot for just neutral heavy damage. And then you've got Ancient Power for the chance of a boost, and Flamethrower in case you get locked into a steel guy. You definitely don't want to be there, but just in case you do, you've got Flamethrower, and then Flamethrower for like a shields down Dialga is nice too. And so those are going to be the three that we are going to check out today. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump into these battles. Now I've got my Rhyperior lead, and it meets a Melmetal. This is great for Rhyperior. Rhyperior does need to watch out for a Superpower, but it's just going to be mud slapping down. You can just see how much that does do. I noticed he had a little bit of lag, so I just went ahead and stopped for a second. He does get the Superpower off, and then he's got another one because he banked up two, so I'm going to go ahead and just block the second one. He brings in his Giratina. I have got my Togekiss. Now, I make a mistake. It couldn't have been Ancient Power at that point, so that was definitely a wasted shield. This Ancient Power will not KO, so it is going to be okay. I am just going to go ahead and Charm down. Now I am down both shields now because of that missed shield. And the Melmetal just comes back and there wasn't much left to it. So I'm going to go ahead and go for Flamethrower just because it is ready, and then I'm going to go ahead and switch out into my Rhyperior just because I do have the Superpowers waiting. And then I will be able to just come in and I'm just going to take this move on the Togekiss and then finish off with the Snorlax. So that was a good game one. I guess game two. These might be a little bit out of order. I'm going to go ahead and show 10 battles. It was just the 2 5 back-to-back sets, but it looks like I started with Battle 2, and I actually got matched up with this same person again, and they have changed their lead, and so they've got a Kyogre now. That's just terrible for Rhyperior. So I do go into the Snorlax. Now, I do have the coverage Superpower on this Snorlax, but this is not really the situation I want to be in, just because that Dragon Breath is going to be doing some insane damage to Snorlax. And I also made a mistake in not going for those Superpowers back to back, because I left myself with a little bit of a defense drop, and that Iron Head was able to take me out, and I couldn't get my second Superpower off, so that was definitely an error on my part. I go in with the Rhyperior and do Charm down. In comes the Kyogre again. This is going to hurt Rhyperior very bad very quickly, so I need to get out of there. I go into the Togekiss. He goes into the Giratina. It's not a great matchup for Giratina. I make the mistake again of blocking a Dragon Claw, and this is just not good for me at all. So I am going to be able to, I thought my only win condition at that point was to farm down. So I did go for that, and it did not work out. I wanted to think I could maybe farm down the Kyogre and then maybe have a move for the next guy. So we're going to go into our next match. We let our Rhyperior again. Now this is not a great situation for Rhyperior. I am going to get right out of here. I go into my Snorlax as my safe swap. I do not need to block anything from this Giratina here. I'm just going to look down, and then in comes the Heracross. Now this is not great for Snorlax, but I do have Togekiss in the back to take care of this. So I'm just going to get a couple superpowers. And then hope these counters can just take me out as soon as possible so I don't be farmed too much. And then Togekiss doesn't really need to block anything Heracross has, so I will just charm down. And then in comes his own Snorlax. I'm going to go into the Rhyperior just to kind of change the feel of the game. I want it in my control. I'd like to get this Togekiss back on this Giratina if I can, but Rhyperior is just going to go to town in the meantime. And you can see it is pretty tanky here. It is going to be resisting the ancient power. So I am able to just save all of that energy, farm down, and then I can get the superpowers off on the Snorlax. And then a Togekiss with 2 shields is very dangerous. Unless it's going up against a steel guy, there's just not a whole lot most Pokemon can do against a Snorlax or a Togekiss with 2 shields, and then especially if it does get the boost. So good game. I saw he actually had the heavy slam on his Snorlax too. I should really think about making a party. I have accidentally gone in with the wrong Rhyperior. I found myself with a Rhyperior that didn't have Mud Slap, and it only had Earthquake, I believe. It was not fun. Alright, so we've got Rhyperior into Giratina. Now this is exactly where I don't want to be. I go into the Togekiss, hopefully, or in hopes that he might switch out, and then later I can match that Snorlax up with the Tina again. So he goes into his Dialga. This is not a great matchup for Dialga. Togekiss can actually take one Iron Head and not faint, but I'm going to go ahead and use my shields just because I am in a great position now, especially because I do know this dragon is in the back. So I'm just going to let this guy go, just get a couple more charms, and then I come in with the Snorlax, and then there was just nothing that Tina could do. I've got Rhyperior into Dialga. This is exactly where Rhyperior wants to be. So he's going to get out of here real quickly, and he goes into Kyogre. Now Kyogre is just doing so much damage. I need to get out of there very quickly. Now Togekiss can take 1 Surf. I'm just going to use 1 shield, and then I will go for the Ancient Power. I'm not going to give both shields here. It couldn't be anything but a Surf at this point, so I will just shield the 1, and then if he doesn't block, this will take him out. Back in comes the Dialga, and you can just see how much those charms do in just a couple of seconds. I'm going to go back in with the Rhyperior. I do need to shield here because this would be super effective to Rhyperior. But at this point, I'm just going to be able to Mud Slap down and then go into the Snorlax to absorb this charge move. And then he is up both shields, but he does have the Tina Origin in the back, which is basically what I was hoping for. I am just a wall for this Pokemon, resisting all of its ghost moves. Now, I've actually seen a couple of people running Dragon Pulse on this, just basically for the Snorlax, and that is something you would want to watch out for. So as soon as shields are down, I am going to go right back into the Rhyperior because I do have that Rock Wrecker waiting. And then this was close. Luckily he hadn't gotten the ominous wind boost on any of those previous charge moves, so very good game. Alright, for this match, Rhyperior goes into Melmetal, so I'm just going to start mud slapping away, and I do expect a switch coming. In comes the Togekiss. I don't have like an amazing answer for Togekiss, so I'm just going to go in with the Mirror, and I will go for the Ancient Power after blocking his. He does get the boost, so now at this point, unless he doesn't block this, I really can't take back swap advantage unless I get it myself, and I don't. So he's just going to charm me down with those super powerful charms now. Now, I will just come in with Snorlax to get a little bit of energy. I'm going to have to absorb this charge on somebody, and you can just see it's going to take me down. I'm now less than half health. That boosted Togekiss is just massive pain to deal with. I do go in with my Rhyperior just to get a little bit of energy towards this Tino that I knew was coming. You can see the Rock Wrecker does do quite a bit. I will be able to get another one. And then I will block this. I'm going to hope that these Mud Slaps can do a whole lot in a very short amount of time. And then back into the Snorlax. I did have a superpower waiting, but we actually CMP tied. So the Mud Slaps will not be able to do enough before he gets his own superpower off. So great game. Alright, for this game, Rhyperior goes into Togekiss, and I definitely want to get out of here. I could Rock Wrecker it, but it just takes a little bit too long to get to, and I'm going to need my Rhyperior later. So I switch into Togekiss, and he puts in a dragon, which lets me know he might have quite a few dragons on this team. So I'm just going to... I went for the Ancient Power. I wasn't able to get it, so I am just going to go in with the Snorlax to get a bunch of energy, and then I'll be able to absorb any of these ghost moves he may throw at me. Back in comes the Dialga, and I'm going to go back in with the Mud Slaps, and then he quick switches into Togekiss. I will block this, and then I'll be able to get a Rock Wrecker off. Now if it goes unshielded, it will do quite a bit. But he does choose to save this Togekiss. And then I won't be able to get another Rock Wrecker. I could just see the charms are taking me down a little too quickly. So I do go for the superpower just to get a move off and possibly get a shield. And I did. And then fortunately he had thrown his move at the same time. And then he did actually undercharge it, which is smart. It allowed him to get another charm off. But I will go in with the Snorlax. And then because I have the Heavy Slam, it will take the Togekiss right out. And then I'm going to go for the back-to-back superpowers, but I'm going to wait till I can get them back-to-back. And I just need to block a Heavy Slam, or an Iron Head. Alright, so great game. I really like Snorlax here. It's not like great against everything or like anything except for Tino Origin, but like it's like good against a lot. Especially with these particular moves, I just think it's definitely something that can fill holes because I kind of have a few of those on my team or in my Pokedex. Alright, so we went into the Rhyperior into Dragonite, and that was just a terrible match, and so I went into the Togekiss, and in comes a Steel guy. Now this is basically like one of the hardest situations for this team to come out of. Rhyperior will be able to go in and then farm up a little bit. I'm not going to block. So I need, if I want to have any chance, I'm going to need shields later. So I come in and then I'm able to catch this on the Snorlax, but then Snorlax doesn't really do that great against Dragonite anyway. So block one, it turns out to be a Dragon Claw. So it would have been better if it was an Outrage, get a little bit more of his energy out. And then this trainer is still up. She is still up two shields, so I am just going to at least save this last one that I have. But it's not gonna... Don't know if it's gonna do much. Alright, so we got Rhyperior into Metagross. Now this is an okay for Rhyperior. Just need to block one, but then I will be able to just fast attack down and then have a whole bunch of energy left over. So in comes Togekiss, and I just make a quick swap, and then I notice he lags for a second, so I stop, and then I just kind of like slow down. I'm going to go for the Heavy Slam. And then in comes Dialga. Even better to just go for double superpower, because now I'm going down pretty fast, but this way I can't be farmed nearly as much, and I will be able to get another superpower off as long as I do block one. And I'm going to make a quick swap into my Rhyperior just because I do have a move waiting. Two, actually. Then out comes Togekiss, and then I'm just going to go into my own Togekiss. I will be able to tank one Ancient Power, and then I can just Charm down. Good game. I think this is going to be our last game. And Rhyperior goes into Dialga, and so I'm just going to block one and then get a whole bunch of energy. You can just see how the Mud Slap was recently buffed. It just does a lot more damage. It was kind of a terrible move before. No, it was a terrible move before, but it's a pretty good move now. And so with all that energy stored up, I'm just going to go into this Mewtwo, and you can just see how much one Rock Wrecker does. And then I will go into the Snorlax just to absorb this charge and finish it off with Lick. And then I've still got the Rhyperior in the back. Now I've got Togekiss in the back, so this is kind of a dangerous situation. I am just going to block this, and then hopefully I can get up to 2 superpowers. And then I think possibly that Ancient Power wasn't even undercharged before. I think it was just that move does nothing. I could have tanked a Rock Slide there from Melmetal just because the Rock move is going to do so little to Rhyperior. But anyway, really great games. I like this trio. It's fun. It's kind of comfortable. It's probably just because of how the meta is right now. I keep catching. It's just very anti what the meta is right now, and so it's like not that covered, but it's covered for what I'm seeing. So I'm having a lot of fun with it, and thank you for following along. I will see you guys in another video soon.